Hey folks, Thomas Tao. I'm here in the VinePair office in beautiful Manhattan, and today we have an exciting bourbon. It is the Russell's Reserve Single Rickhouse Camp Nelson F. It is an exciting release. It is the second in Wild Turkey's Russell's Reserve Single Rickhouse line. That is a mouthful. We're gonna get into everything about this bourbon, but before we do that, make sure you subscribe to VinePair because you're watching it right now. I don't need to explain, just like and subscribe. Honestly, it'll make me feel a lot better, and I could use a little boost. I really could. So if you want to buy this bourbon whiskey, you're going to have to shell out at least $300 because that is the suggested retail price, making it one of the most expensive at MSRP whiskeys we've ever seen Wild Turkey release. It's actually up from the Camp Nelson C release that was in 2022. That was about $250 suggested retail price. So 300 bucks, it might be more than that depending on where you are and depending on where you can find it on a shelf. Super highly allocated release. It's gonna be tough to find and in demand, but it does come in this cool little box. Look at this action, boom. Little hinge action there. This bottle was signed by Eddie and Bruce Russell because I am a professional whiskey taster, so I get special things. We're gonna get into that and more, but if you want my full review, I mean the detailed tasting notes, make sure you click on the link in the description below. That is my full written review, much more detailed than this video, but hey, you're watching this anyway, might as well finish it and then go read the written review. All right, we're gonna pour it. Boom, ooh. Love that action. All right, this is Single Rickhouse Camp Nelson F, meaning all of the bourbon in this batch release came from the same Rickhouse, that is Rickhouse F. It was built in the 1940s. It's on Wild Turkey's Camp Nelson aging campus. So fun fact for you, it's like an 80-year-old warehouse or something like that. So I wrote more about this in my full written review, but that's much bolder than last year's release, Camp Nelson C. Oaky, cinnamony like cinnamon chewing gum, vanilla. This is like Wild Turkey took all those classic bourbon notes they're known for and dialed it up to 11. This nose is deep and it keeps changing and it evolves in the glass. 117.6 proof, so this is nosing every bit of that, but like in a really, really good way. Let's taste it, 117.6 proof, so. Oh wow, okay. Candied orange, dark caramel, like you bring caramel to the edge of being burnt, but you don't quite go over. A lot of oak, more black cherry on like kind of the back of the palate, the mid palate, mid to the back palate, mid back palate. Not as much chocolate as I was expecting. I get a lot of chocolate on a lot of the Russell's 13 releases. There's still some chocolate on this. That candied orange and oak and dark caramel and the wood tannins. This is rich and this is bold. I like how this is drinking at over 117 proof. I really like how this is drinking. Oh, the finish is oaky, cola, like maybe a little root beer in there, maybe a little sassafras. I mean, this finish is an oak lover's dream with that cola for sweetness, maybe a little black cherry in there. You know, I added a few drops of water to this when I was reviewing it for my full written review, and a little dilution, just a little bit, don't be afraid to do it. It brings out more of that citrus, more of that candied orange, and kind of extends it through the finish. So a couple drops of water, a little dilution, this becomes a little less oaky. It dials back that cola, which I do like, by the way, and it kind of carries the orange and maybe a little lemon zest through. This is non-age dated. We know it's at least 10 years old. The oak is strong, but not too powerful. This is a really good bourbon. Okay, let's talk about scoring this. I was really impressed. Straight up, I liked this more than the first release in their Single Rickhouse series. Camp Nelson F is a storied, legendary Rickhouse, and for good reason. This cask strength small batch whiskey, I gave it a full 96 points out of 100. I don't do that often. 96 is really, really good. To get above 96, you gotta like knock my socks off. You gotta wine and dine me. I'm kidding, you don't actually have to wine and dine me, but the whiskey has to be superlative. At 96, this is already a contender for me for bourbon of the year. I'm not kidding. This is a great whiskey. I don't love that the suggested retail price is $300, and a lot of people might end up having to pay more than that. But if you can get a bottle of this, open it and share it with friends, because it's real good. It might not be the best bourbon that I taste this year when all is said and done. It might not be the best new release bourbon that I taste this year, but it's up there. Certainly in the top 10%, 5%, maybe even 1%. I drink a lot of bourbon. Really good stuff. Wild Turkey is gonna have to work hard to meet or exceed this for subsequent Single Rickhouse releases if they continue that series. I hope they try, because we all benefit from this. If you find a bottle, crack it open, share it with friends. Really outstanding stuff. Until then, my name is David Thomas Tao. I have had a blast reviewing the latest in the Russell's Reserve Single Rickhouse series from Wild Turkey. I want to know what you think of this whiskey if you get a chance to try it. If you have any favorite Wild Turkey expressions, or you think I'm just dead wrong on something, let me know in the comments below. I will politely respond, I promise. Let's not argue on the internet too much.